Bada bing, bada boom. We're here. It's another Tuesday afternoon, and you're hanging with the Roll for Mischief crew, as I like to say, your favorite nerds. And let's see. Any special announcements that anyone has about anything before we get rolling today? Announcements.
Nope. We're
Okay.
good.
All right. Just one quick announcement then. If you ever want to catch up on something that that we talk about in the game, like maybe we mentioned in an earlier episode, be sure to look up our YouTube playlist. I am constantly curating that, and what we're working on right now is to throw up the videos that specifically have to do with Ellie, Carrie's character. We did like a little kind of backstory on her character over the course of like 3 sessions, and we've got a handful of those videos up, and it's chronologically back in episode 10 when that actually all went down. So, and I'm going to get the other ones uploaded at some point soon. So if you want to get a little backstory on this new character that has joined the game, then you can check that out. So, without any further ado, let's go ahead and roll that intro video that I love so much. Here we go. All right, there it is. And we're back. We're here. Episode 11, Firestarter, making some progress along. If you're just joining us, if you're a new viewer, let me specially introduce Alex Brandt, who's going to be playing a character who is Eridu's sister, Eridu, regularly played by Asa over there. Um, yeah,
Whom? Me? Oh, yeah. That's
yeah.
right.
And go ahead
Yeah.
and. Oh, yeah, let's do group therapy. It's that time. Does anyone want to start group therapy this time? I usually start it. Someone else go.
So, Halifax is feeling fine. He's full of vim and vigor. He's got the majority of his vitality. It's a good day for Halifax. He's sitting pretty on 8 hit points, and I think most of those are from healing spells that were launched his way. Halifax is feeling a little worse for wear. He's been bashed about, and he just wants to sit and rest and just have a nice long rest before we carry on going anywhere else. Despite the fact that we've got this crunch on, I feel like we've traveled to a couple of places now. We can stop for a breather. People understand, right?
Yeah.
And that's where Halifax is.
Egner
Well-
feels much the same. He is currently drinking a beer right now, sitting on a stump, and he is just really has no idea what to think because something that recently happened is Egner's found out that he has the ability to teleport people through these weird metal magical discs that he's finding. As usual with Egner's newfound abilities. He has no idea how to really utilize them, has no idea how they work. They just kind of work for him on a case by case individual basis, and he has no idea like how to even think about it. So somehow he took them to where Ethel was, and they saved her for whatever reason. And then somehow he transported them all to where John Sonsgood is, who is an old NPC who now has been revealed to be one of the people that's in charge of the ISCB right now. And Egner is just so confused. He's tired. He doesn't want to do any more teleporting, really. And, yeah, he's just over it. So mentally confused and doesn't trust magic at all. Even this magic that he is seemingly doing. Doesn't trust any of it. So he's going to let the magic people talk for a while.
This is a bad time for. Wow.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good. So this is a bad time for John to lean in and be like, so, we needed to teleport.
Ugh, yeah, that's a really bad time for him to say something like that. Egner will say, like, hey, you're more, you know more about that than I do. Leave me alone.
I'll have a word with the GM.
Word.
Alright, so Ellie's been having a difficult day, physically and emotionally. You know, she met this new girl, being attacked by the new girl, having to deal with Agnes, I mean, kind of realistically ex-fiance, but she doesn't know that, but it's there. I know that. Slash ex-friend. Although she is somewhat happy that now Ethel owes her a favour in her eyes for going back and rescuing her. But there was the whole, you know, Leodin?
Leodin.
Leah?
Yeah, I
just
guess
say
we're
Leah.
Leah now. Yeah.
Because Leah's not how we say it. Leia is like the anyway. Leah.
How you say it?
Okay.
And the whole like her and Agner like touching hands and helping Ethel, and it being a whole little like 3 people thing while Ellie was left out. It's just a whole thing. But now she's kind of now again teleported into this new place, carrying Ethel because she's all like broken. Yeah, just a little bit, I don't know, stressed. It's been a hard day.
And the day isn't over.
Yep.
Wow. How's Leodin feeling about things?
My turn?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, she's fine. Everything's fine. She's doing great. She's definitely not gonna like make everyone around her miserable. It'll be fine. And I think my thing's freezing a little. Hang on.
You all keep saying this word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
Yeah, so Leodin's had a terrible day. She buried a guy and subsequently realized that her entire state of being is damaging to everyone around her, despite her best efforts. Her brother showed up, except for he was also her horrifying, horrible father instead. But then he went back to being her brother, so that was confusing. And now she's around a bunch of people and is really concerned that simply by being around them, she's going to screw everything up. And of course, the more concerned about it she gets, the worse her emotions get and the more trouble she causes. So she's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. It'll be great.
Yay, downward spiral.
Yay! Although right now she's feeling fairly calm because she feels like there's a plan and we're doing a thing, and now everyone's stopping for beers, and so she's like a little some people don't look so like they're doing so well, so maybe that's okay, but maybe not. Maybe beers aren't the answer. I don't know.
Tell that to Egner.
It's
Yeah.
fine. We all have a plan. We know what we're doing, and we're all just gonna stop for beer.
Yeah, no, yeah. So she doesn't know him well enough to tell him what she thinks about how he feels about beer.
That's fair. All right, take it away, Asa.
Is Eridu's still a bear, right?
Eridu is still a bear. Yeah. He's fine. I mean, he was doing a thing, and then Bronzewood Grove got attacked, and then he kind of existed in this weird limbo of dark and not really knowing what's going on, but having images flashing as he went along with life, and then he became a bear. But that was only after he tried killing his sister. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's a bear bro daddy. It's a complicated day. He's fine though. We're all fine.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
not weird at all.
Sitting crisscross on his stump is Mr. Sounds Good. He's conjured you all a tasty beverage. As he does, the grove around you starts to kind of become a little more opaque, and then walls form up around you, creating a rather large stone room. There are comfortable chairs around a giant round table. You find yourselves no longer sitting on stumps, but sitting in those chairs, your drinks resting on the table. There are nooks in the wall where there are nice cushy beds that one could rest on if they need to. John studies you all underneath his bushy brows and says, "Well, you all look fine, just fine. But maybe you should rest."
I couldn't agree more.
Yes, I appreciate the offer, Mr. Sonsgood, and I will be taking you up on it. Good evening, everyone. And I will walk towards bed and just fall face first onto it. I am done for the night, even though it's like afternoon.
Do we really have time to be having? What are we doing about Eridu? He's not going to be a bear for long, and then what happens when he comes out being a bear? We were in like a bit of a rush. Yeah.
That is
Guys,
I mean,
Halifax,
yeah.
shaking Halifax on the bed. Halifax, come on, what are we gonna do?
Oh, he's already
Mm,
gone.
mm.
Yes, sounds good. Our friend has been awfully afflicted by some magic that we can't really comprehend. He's a bear now, but once he's not a bear, he could die very easily, very, very quickly. Is there anything that you can do?
Well, I could take a look at him. But being that I don't know what is going on, I probably can't solve it just with words. Give me some time, see if I can find a solution for you. Are there other problems? Other things that I can solve for you all? That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, I got a question. And Egner will tip back the beer, take a big old long swig, and then let out a little sizable burp. Burp. Sounds good. Is there a hit out on me?
Not for you specifically, but the entire rest of your revolution is being sought after by damn it, what is his name? I keep forgetting the name of the dude that I remembered last session.
Vitrell?
Betrayal, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love the description, and I love that you knew what I was talking about. All right,
I always do.
yeah.
I always do.
So that all happened in character. because Sansgood couldn't remember his name either. Yes, this Orin Vitrell seems to have it out for you all, and
You could say that again. How could you let the organization this you guys are supposed to be, and he'll wave the beer around. You guys are supposed to be international, independent. How could you team up with a snake like Vitrell? And furthermore, how could you create those monstrosities? Excuse me, you jailed me, not you personally. Not don't mean to say that, but you generally imprisoned me for being a monstrosity, yet you create your own monstrosities when it's convenient for you to go wreak havoc and violence, invade my grove, and put myself and my friends in danger. I'm sorry, John. I know this is all misdirected aggression. Just give me a second.
well, you're right. I should apologize. The Grove went a bit too far. It was not the intended purpose. Actually, my goal was to get to you before Vitrell did. And Ethel has informed me that Jarin went rogue, which
I'll say.
that was not expected. Jarin has always been a very loyal member of the ISCB, if not a little bit enthusiastic about... Anyway, I didn't expect that. But, to answer your other questions, how do we make these monstrosities? How do we justify this? Well, let me show you something. And
Good
for all
luck.
of you awake, the room kind of dissipates, and as it does, what the figures begin to rise up from the ground. You find yourself standing in a massive line of about 5 foot tall metallic men. This right here, for as far as you can see, all of these soldiers, they stand on the shore, just outside the harbors, ready to invade. This is what the Dwarven Empire has worked on. This is their first strike. We tried a counteroffensive, and the image melts away, and you see a large metallic dragon rising up, and it takes flight and kind of circles you. That went horribly wrong. It was lost in some islands to the north. And we didn't have a lot of options readily available. Our engineers were not as sophisticated as theirs, and we had to have some form of defense. I have mages at my disposal, but not a large number, not enough to take out an entire army like this. So we pieced together what we could. And now you're standing in a room full of mages who are experimenting on animals and drawing parts and sort of magically knitting them together. We created chimeras. They were cheap to produce. They were easy to manufacture. And after a while, we were able to conjure our own animals and didn't have to go and chase them through the forests. It might not be humane, but I believe the future is not going to be humane in the next few months.
This whole time, Ellie's just been drawing one long, very excited breath in at the mechanical men and the dragon. She's like, ah. Not paying attention now to the animals. She's too busy thinking about the metal men.
Well, Egner's just going to just try in an attempt to hide the fact that he may know stuff about that metal dragon that that Sansgood doesn't know. He'll just try and be extra grouchy and sour, and just tell him. So you've already picked a side, putting all your chips in. The arms race is gonna bite you in the ass, Sansgood. It always does. It always does.
You, Egner, are the one who convinced me. You specifically, although your people, your friends did help, to return to the ISCB, to take up the lead here. You showed me there was corruption, and you've convinced me to act. I have done that. It's just lucky for me that I'm not seeking your approval in the choices that I have to make.
Fair enough. He'll swill more beer nervously.
I still
Presuming that
like
Leodin-
you. Oh, good.
Sorry. I'm presuming that Leodin doesn't even know what this organization is, let alone what's been happening.
Yeah, no, this is all full revelation for her.
I figured. Okay, continue.
Despite your willingness to accept my hospitality, I still like you very much. I'm trying to help you, keep you out of the effects of this war. It's not your war. You didn't cause it. You're just bystanders in it.
Well,
I don't care. No, I'm sorry. This is my personal thing. I like pause and then talk again, and then I ruin it all.
It's okay. Well, I appreciate the hospitality. Sounds good. I really do, and I don't mean to sound ungrateful, but if your intent was to help me, to help my friends, you did a right shit job of it.
Well, intents and priorities. Sometimes more important things come up. If I could send better help to have dealt with this problem, things wouldn't have gone as badly as they did. And he kind of casts a look at Ethel. Regardless of the past, this is where we're at now. This is the situation, and your friend is not doing well. He has been poisoned.
You can say that again.
He has been poisoned.
That's
Be
Right
gathered
there.
as such.
Hey, you! Stop sleep talking.
I like the idea of Halifax waking up just enough to be snarky and then going back.
Uh,
So, what are we going to do about it? I'm only here for one purpose. So, what's next? How do we save him?
I don't know the origins of this poison, and therefore don't have a ready antidote at hand. I could try things, but if it's not the right cure, it could very well only make things worse. I would revisit the source of the poison, of where he got poisoned, figure out what the cause is, and then try to reverse engineer an antidote. That is typically how we would do these sorts of things. How did your friend get poisoned? Some of you must know this.
My memory's a little
We didn't under the
fuzzy.
impression that Adrian did it.
Well, that does sound sensible. I mean, because, well, Egner will speak up in character, and he'll say, you know, it's hard to say, because Eridu has been acting sickly for quite a while now. But
How long?
at least, I mean, days, it's all fuzzy for me. I mean, since the beginning of this episode. I mean, like, I'm saying that out of character now. But
I know.
Like, I mean, how much time
Don's just looking
really
at
has
you right now.
passed? How much time really has passed in the past, like, sessions? I mean, because it's
you-
really not much.
If you give it a real good thought, he started appearing sickly only a few days after you guys returned from the Drow portal chamber room.
Mm-hmm.
And you only really started to realize that because you smelled it before you actually would talk to him, but you didn't really pick it up until after you'd fully recovered from your own
Mm-hmm.
poisoning that the druids had worked you through.
Yeah. But then you said some time had passed in the
Right,
beginning,
and he's
so he would say,
been sick that entire time.
yeah, so Egner would say he's been sick for weeks.
So it wasn't Adrian who did this to him.
I mean, with the timing, it very well could have been him. It very well could have been that Agrian took him over and was masquerading as Eridu for weeks. the very presence of Agrian within Eridu's mind could have poisoned him for all I know.
While
How could you not have known?
Well, I was rather indisposed myself for a while. And if you haven't noticed, I'm quite blind, so maybe that has something to do with it as well.
Oh. I hadn't noticed.
Suppose I do a good job of hiding it then.
I apologize.
It's fine, really. Really.
Ellie
It's just
just
fine.
mumbles behind them. Awkward.
Well,
in his examination, John had reverted Eridu back to his human form and put him to sleep and done this examination. And you all can see the black veins of this poison just kind of coursing throughout his whole body. His tattoos are just wreathed in it.
mm,
Sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
If you know anything about drow and drow poisons, you may want to start there.
That would be a good place to start, wouldn't it? How would he come into contact with drow poisons?
It's complicated. His father is a drow.
mm-hmm.
All right. Well, drow are very well versed in poisons. They have many different types spanning a large period of time. That does narrow things down a bit, but not as much as you might think.
Asa.
Yep.
Leodin also was raised with Eridu among the Drow for at least a short period of time. Would she have knowledge of some of the things? Would she have knowledge of something that her father would use that was a Drow that was related to Drow poisons?
Why don't you make me a medicine check?
Good call.
Medicine check. Medicine check.
Was that the Winnie the Pooh tune?
I guess so, dude.
I mean,
Kind of sounds like it now. Yeah.
any sort of music we get while making rolls is great.
Well, she doesn't know shirt. Her, I got a 6.
Okay.
Dang.
I mean, she does know that her father really enjoyed poisons, and liked to use them on many of his enemies, but would not use them on his allies, even if they crossed him terribly.
Mm-hmm. And he supposedly liked Eridu better than her anyway, so...
Actually, his preferred method of dealing with betrayal was a one-on-one fight to the death.
Sounds stable.
Yep.
Cool. Then I guess Leodin will point out that it might not be Agrian's doing, that he tended to prefer not to use poison on people that he still supposedly respected, and he had always liked Eridu better.
This may also be a sleepy Halifax. This may be a Halifax awakened because of how interesting things are. Could this perhaps not be a side effect of the possession rather than an intentional poisoning?
Very well could be. Very well could be.
Do we
That's
know
an
the
easy-
mechanism by which
It
Agrian...
probably wouldn't be, unless the form of possession was through some kind of necromantic magic.
Agner would say something, but he doesn't know shit about magic, so... Someone who knows shit about magic should try and speak to that.
I guess Halifax just has to stay awake.
I will do an Arcana check and see if anything seemed necromantic, because memory's not serving me
Well,
right now. I don't think we discovered necromantic.
I could see that it was necrotic.
Yeah.
So can I do it? Can I do the Arcana check? Because, like, you know,
Cool.
I'm smart.
Yeah,
I
you
think
can
about
do
things.
it with advantage because you already have like past experience with noticing this stuff on him.
25.
Okay. Um, trying to think about what information I'd have to give you here. So you're just trying to use this check to narrow down the type of poison, right?
Well, I guess thinking about whether it could be the possession that did it, because I saw the most of like the magic that was in him, and I kind of saw him before and after, like he spoke to me as it stopped, and
Right.
I don't know, just trying to piece together stuff.
All right. As you are thinking it through, it does occur to you that it is possible to transfer afflictions from one person to another with necrotic magic.
Okay. So like in that their dad might have had something that was poisoning him, and it happened to. Okay.
That would be
I'll.
a possibility, but I'm not going
Okay.
to
So.
confirm or deny this.
So I guess through all this, like Ellie's been generally quite quiet, like thinking about things. And then she'll sort of speak up eventually and say, well, what I saw with the detect magic was necrotic magic, and I believe it's possible that if your father had some sort of illness or poison in him himself, he may have almost accidentally passed it on to Eridu. It's a possibility, not definite, but perhaps they're linked now. Perhaps that's why we need to go and find your father, and if he gets cured, Eridu gets cured. I don't know. I'm reaching here, but it's. I mean, he did say, "Come and find me" to help Eridu, so maybe that's what we need to do.
Eridu, well, you feel, Ellie, you feel someone grip your wrist and kind of like pull, and you look, and Eridu's kind of groggily coming to, and he says, I have done this to myself.
What do you mean you've done this?
You
yourself?
what?
What?
Ellie's the only person that can actually hear that.
Oh, okay.
I really wanted to react.
I don't know. Edgar's got good hearing. Okay, go for it.
Maybe
Go for
Agner
it.
could pick it up.
Eden doesn't have.
I'll lean in closer to him so it's still just them two, and just whisper back like, "What?"
Agner was dying. I needed to do something.
Oh.
Leovan gave me a choice.
Okay, so we need to see Leovan?
I do not think you can cure this. If you do, it could go back to Agner, and it could be worse.
Don't give me this choice, Eridu. Come on.
Okay, Eden at this point is sidling over because people are talking with her brother without her.
I'll pat Eridu's hand, kind of like almost like conspiratorially, as Leah did. I think about it every time. Leah comes over.
I'm sorry.
And so no, it's okay. I think it is like the British pronunciation of the name. I'm struggling with Leah and Leah. And I'll look up to her and say, "Oh, I think your brother's come round. He needs some water."
Eridu nods.
What's that music?
Okay, well, since Eridu nodded, I guess I'm off to get water.
You're back in John's little cushy meeting room. You turn to get water, and there is a glass of it just sitting on the table.
Yeah. Well, I'm fetching it right back, aren't I?
And I say loudly, "Don't worry, dude. The water's coming. Your thirst will be quenched. I will fix your problem. Don't
You might
worry."
be rolling some kind of like insight at this point, because
You may, if you would like. Yes.
okay, I think I would like to.
Bomb? Oh, this is very good. I'm
Ooh,
suggesting.
well, that's a natural one.
Oof.
I totally believe everything you're doing.
Yep. Clearly, Eridu just needs water.
Yep, that's all that there's to that.
Not even a little bit suspicious. No reason to question it.
Yep. No one's behaving
Okay.
weirdly.
Yeah, I'll just sort of like I'll leave them together, but as I walk away behind Leah's back, give Eridu a bit of a wink, as in like, all right, like I know, kind of like keep it quiet while I deal with this kind of look.
Mhm.
And then I want to go over to John, and I'll look kind of sheepish, and then I'll be like, you don't happen to have one of those metal men, do you?
We have a few scraps that we were able to bring back from the northern expedition where we lost our metallic dragon, but nothing whole, no.
I'd really like to see them bits sometime. Sounds like I'm trying to like.
That was a bit
Really
suggestive. He raises one of his large eyebrows at you and says, "Ellie, are you coming on to me?"
Egner goes,
Nope, just on to
awkward.
the metal dragon.
I'll just sort of like, I'll kind of look at him with a bit of a grin, and then I'll pull out the robot arm that I've been working on. This might be a bad move doing this, but I want those other people. So, and kind of like, not like full on get it out, but just kind of show him it in the back. Like, oh, it's like I've got an invested interest
Ah,
in the metallic men. I mean,
Oh my god.
naturally.
I'm getting tired of Egner. I'm into metallic men now.
It only makes sense when the real men just can't satisfy. If we have some time, I'd be happy to see what you think of this. Your insights might be valuable to us as well.
yeah, I'm sure we can help. There's something else actually. How able are you to like go out and collect things quickly and bring them back? How did you get here?
Well,
The
Like,
I
fucker
have-
is here.
Yeah.
we are outside of logging town that his name I totally remember. I have an affinity.
Cedro Woolley.
That's it. That must be the name.
Sounds about right.
I mean, people do have their teeth, but not many of them. That's such a niche joke.
Yeah, it
There's
is.
like three
Large
people.
population of upriver folk.
All right, so
funny to three of us.
right.
Sorry. Sorry.
Okay. So
Sorry, was a joke made?
Yeah. I don't.
exactly. No, there's just a bunch of time wasted.
Look, basically, I don't mean to be. That was aggressive. I didn't mean to be so aggressive.
Look, we need to redirect the game. Ellie's gonna tell us how it is. All right. Yes, we need to redirect.
I was
this
in
game.
character, but I didn't mean to be quite so rough. Basically, I left behind something, and I feel like it's going to be a hassle to go back and get it. Are you able to like go and get it and bring it back? It's big, so
It
take that into
depends
consideration.
on what it is and where it is, and
Well, I left outside the cave that we found Lady Ethel. Almost like with air quotes, but not quite.
You're going to sense a theme here, John. It has moving parts.
Okay. I thought the theme was all of you with E names.
Oh, that too. This thing has an E name too.
I picked into that
Oh,
theme
good.
happily.
Agner will grumpily say, "I was the original. It was all me first."
I was doing E names before it was cool. Edoras looks at you and says, I think I'm quite a bit older than you.
Whatever.
Yeah, but you didn't exist until a few episodes ago. Alright, so,
Basically, I left like the metallic men and the metallic dragon.
yeah.
Well, I have a metal owl bear, and I left him behind because he wouldn't fit through the tunnels. It was a whole thing. So, like, can you go and get him, or is that like?
He kind of just gives you a sideways look. You know, I think I have heard of you. I think you've been ducking the bureau for a while. I read a few old case files. It didn't seem, but we should talk sometime.
Sure. Let's talk.
Of course, if we come across your metallic owl bear, we will transport it to a safe location and make sure that it gets back to you. I don't think that I can divert manpower just for that, so it'll kind of be a on the way thing.
Well, I mean, it's not a big deal. I can just rebuild him, and that one falls apart. But I would prefer not to. But
John
I
gives
can.
you a kind look and pats your arm and says, "You wouldn't do that. You would never be the same."
Ouch.
Well, now I'm just sad. Now I can't do it, can I? So thanks, John.
Aw,
Thanks for your help.
it wouldn't be the same
Yeah.
mine.
I mean, he thought he was being comforting.
Oh God. Okay, I'm just kind of gonna edge away a little bit, like not overly happy that it's now been brought up that she has been like dodging them a lot, and they're probably not overly happy with it. So because like I think every time like if they'd ever got one of her items, it would break and stop being magic like the next day anyway. So like
Right.
they're constantly trying to get her items and then they just fall apart. So.
Maybe she made the giant dragon. And then it
Maybe.
fell apart after they stole it. After Eridu stole it and rode it around and then broke it.
Yeah, that's the part that Agner's not bringing up right now.
Right. Alright. Do we have a plan?
Are we?
Agner-
Well, are we going after? Oh yeah, I've not told anyone anything, have I?
Some people
I
know
think-
things that other people do not know.
Yep.
Agner's plan right now is to stumble over to wherever a bed is. Turns out that John Sonsgood has been making double IPAs recently that Agner did not try the last time. So now he is stumbling over to the bed and he is laying down and he's just kind of snoozing off pretty soon here.
Alright.
Okay.
I see Halifax is quite well into his sleep.
Let's long rest then, and then I would like
Halifax
to.
completed his thing and then fell back asleep, huh?
Yeah, pretty much.
I would like to, if possible, halfway through this long rest, like wake myself up and sneak over to try and talk to Eridu some more when no one else can hear.
Alright.
Sneaky.
With that,
Oh,
you can obviously try and time it, but Leodin only needs 4 hours for the trance thing, and also was planning on talking to John / Edurus
Edoras, yeah.
about Eridu.
Pretty sure I stole that name from Lord of the Rings.
Sure.
I'm not 100%, but I think I did.
And we need one of those in every episode. We need some Lord of the Rings stealing.
Yeah, it is obligatory.
Edoras is the home of the Horse Lords.
I thought Edoras was the name of the Palantir that that Saruman is using.
Is it?
Wow, my
Doesn't matter.
my Tolkien
Who's right.
apology. I need to brush up on it.
Maybe I'm wrong. I mean,
I thought Edoras was where was the city of the Rohirrim.
okay, maybe it is. I don't know. I'd have to look it up.
Rohan. I don't know. Maybe.
Anyway,
Someone with Google, do that real quick. It's really important. We must have this debate. Or if you already know and you're telling us in chat, which it looks like you are, I think that your story is being, confirmed there, Drew. All right.
Yay!
anyway. Okay, so yeah, can I like time it maybe for when Leah's not Leah? Oh, isn't there? I can't do it every time. Is not with or near Eridu, so I can talk to him privately.
Yeah,
Mhm.
John has been busying himself with continually keeping up some kind of ritual going over Eridu, and then brewing some beer. Occasionally giving Agner sly looks and muttering to himself. If he
The
couldn't
only thing
handle
that Leiden wants to talk to Edoras about is just asking him if Eridu will be stable enough that this is okay, that everyone's sleeping.
Yeah, so in the midst of his brewing, you come over, and John seemed to think that
He's
everyone.
very anxiousness happening here.
John seemed to think that everyone was sound asleep, so he was startled when
Mhm.
you approached. But he goes, Eridu's sister. I'm sorry, I forgot your name. There's so many names. You all have names. I was going to call you number 3.
Call me Lee.
No, that's much more convenient
Number
than
three
3.
what? What am I number 3 of?
The third Samaria I've met? I'm not sure. You want answers? I don't really have them. I do, but I don't. Yes.
Is he stable enough for now? Or do I need to just like go run off and try to find Agrian like right now?
I've been keeping an eye on him. I think he'll do all right long enough for you to rest. But his situation is dire. If what your friend says is true, he's been sick for a long time. And this seems to be in the final throes of it.
Right. So Leodin's actually going to leave the area that everyone is in. Probably go outside somewhere. What's the region? So we're inside a cave that's also a tavern, or what?
Well, when you leave, you'll realize that you're inside of a magical house that's just been built there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
so
as you
it's still forest, or
as you go outside, it's still forest. It looks like it's that ringed trunk area that this is centered around.
Mm-hmm.
But aside from that, it's like as you get close to the walls, you can start to see through them and see the surrounding area. You would be aware if anyone were to approach the TARDIS, as Glenwood says.
yes, I just saw that.
Yeah, it's an actual D&D
Okay,
spell,
yeah.
guys. Come on.
Uh,
Not everything I do is Doctor Who.
I mean, Doctor Who was invented in what, the late 40s, early 50s. So, I mean, D&D came after.
Damn it! Everything I do is Doctor Who.
Sorry?
Didn't it come out in '63?
What, Doctor Who?
Yeah.
Possibly.
I mean,
This
either
is
way,
Anyway.
it still is before D&D.
Yeah, Leodin's going to leave the area entirely, so that should make it easy for Ellie, because she's going to go try and take her anxious self out of the range of other people and perform a very long personal ritual to calm down. And then she's going to try to sleep after, well, trance after that.
All right.
I go to Eridu.
Yeah, he seems to be wavering around consciousness.
Okay. I will lie down next to him. I presume it's lie down. So I'm like close enough to whisper, like basically, so no one will be able to hear. Eridu, I've been thinking about it. I don't really know what to do about the situation. I don't really want to tell them because Aigna will. I think this will. Aigna's already on the edge, and I don't want to be the. I don't want this to push him over.
Yes,
But I don't know what to do. I don't know what the answer is.
I agree. If you tell Agner, he will do whatever he can to undo what I've already done. I can't risk him getting sick again.
Is there an option to split the sickness? Could it be that maybe we go to the oh god, Leoben, the other one, the druid, the druid,
The other one.
and have him like split the sickness between some of us. Like so maybe we can all carry a part of it and it not be quite so bad, or until we can like cure it, and then it will give us more time to find the cure.
Do you mean that I'll get up and then come down with the sickness?
I don't get it.
Get down with the sickness, yo. It's a bad song. It's a bad song. We're joking
Oh,
about it.
come
bad.
on.
It's a bad song.
That's
You never
fake.
That's a bad song. Come on, dude.
Why should anyone?
Define bad. No, okay, we'll debate music.
Moving on.
Um,
Moving right along.
We are
Eridu,
not on task today.
Eridu smiles weakly and says, I do not think it can be done. I'd like you to roll an insight check, because I think you have reason to believe that he could be lying.
Inside. 18.
Okay. You can tell that he's never been great with deception. Whether or not it's a possibility, the quickness of Eridu's answer shows that he's not willing to entertain the idea.
But okay, so if it's not possible, say going along with him for now, well, the only other option we feel like we have at the minute is going and finding your father. But if he's not actually got anything to do with the sickness, then that's not going to help. How can he cure the original sickness, do you think?
Well, the poison came from the drows who came through the portal with him. He would have knowledge of it, more than likely. But I can fight this. I know that I can. I have been doing it for months now. Weeks. I don't know how long. Yeah. I've been doing it for what feels like forever because I've lost track of time. I'm sure that I can fight, I can defeat this. Anyone else would have been dead days ago.
What is it that's helping you fight it? Is there anything I can do or get you or give you to help until then?
Anything that would slow the infection would help give me more time. But I'm a monk. It is my training to master my own body. This is what I must do now.
I wish he would talk to his sister.
I mean, she's off having emotions, so.
Yeah, no, it's true. Probably best not.
Paladins and clerics? Maybe we need to find a paladin or a cleric.
Ooh, me. Ooh.
We know one of
Me.
those.
That's not the person we can't tell because it will destroy him.
Oh God.
Right.
It's true. It's true.
Awkward.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of that this right now. A lot of awkwardness.
Okay, Eridu, look, I will work on this and think about it. You put all of your strengths and energy into fighting it. I'll help you as much as I can without letting on to the others. Yeah, and we'll fix this.
He smiles again. I know we will.
Okay. Go back. Like, actually sleep properly. Sleep well, I don't know, actually. Probably meditating might be better. Just you do you. I'm gonna go to sleep.
You do you. Alright. Well, Eridu kind of closes his eyes and starts to steady his breathing.
I go back over to sleep.
Do you slowly inch your way closer to Egner?
Oh, yeah, no, I just like put myself down next to him.
All pretense has been lost.
Yeah. And it's like Ethel's anywhere near, like I make sure I'm like between him
Between.
and her. Yeah.
Yeah, she seems fairly uncomfortable in this whole situation, and she spent a lot of the time just kind of making her own little space and studying her spell book and occasionally speaking with John.
Okay.
Come the morning time, Ethel is gone. John has made you all a wonderful egg and some kind of meat. Possibly bacon, but who knows? They've been experimenting with animals a lot lately. And he's
Don't
wearing
tell
a.
Agner anything about that.
For Agner, he made it spider bacon.
Yay!
He is wearing an apron. On the chest of it, it says the Academy's best chef.
I ask him if he bought himself that.
Of course, I can't expect other people to declare my wonders. That sounded weird.
I'm not slightly worried. Yeah, I feel like Ellie's slightly worried about everything she says now sounding like she's coming on to it. She's coming on.
Hi, Ellie. Are you coming on to me?
So hold on. So did Ellie just like straight up like fall asleep in the bed that Agner was on, or because there were like beds, right? Did Ellie actually?
Oh yeah.
They're like-
No.
Cushy mattresses, and well, I did say they were like, yeah, there's like nooks with mattresses and stuff in them.
For sure.
It's not full on frames beds.
Mm-hmm. But you said next to, like.
Yeah.
She could casually arrange herself so that it was like she was sitting next to the bed, reading a book or thinking
Oh,
about something, and just
okay.
happened to fall asleep,
Okay.
Yeah.
like on Ignor's pillow,
All
right?
Yeah.
That's exactly what
Well, in any case, there's a repeat of the one of the other sessions where Egner wakes up and just completely has no idea that Ellie's there, and just like either elbows her or like rolls in an awkward way, or like if she's on the floor next to the mattress, maybe accidentally steps on her a little bit, just like something like that. And he just says, "Oh God, oh my gosh, Ellie, it's you again. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. I don't know how this
keep
keeps
doing this.
I keep doing this, and it's very clumsy of me. And
You move so much in your sleep, and like Ellie looks up at the fact he's been sleeping next to a wall. Like you move so much in your sleep, he just moved right across the room.
I know it's becoming a recurring problem, and I just have nightmares sometimes. I have nightmares a lot, you know. I just Anyway, I'm really sorry, and I'm sorry. I need to go do something. I'm sorry again. And he'll awkwardly shuffle away after saying that he's sorry about 5 times in a row. And he'll go find Eridu.
As he's walking by the table, he'll hear John say, "No, no, Halifax, that one is for Egner."
Oh. Which one's mine? I'm very hungry.
Oh, I seem to have miscounted. This is awkward.
It's okay. Halifax can have mine. I'm busy anyway.
Ah, excellent.
You sit down and start eating, and John's like, "Well, I guess I could."
Is this spider bacon?
You weren't supposed to tell.
Can't say I care for your cooking.
I followed the recipe perfectly. It should be exactly like any other bacon.
Quite.
Eh,
I'm a little grumpy in the mornings. Forgive me.
Egner will shudder a little bit at hearing the whole bit about spider bacon, and then he'll brush it off and try and find Eridu. Can he locate Eridu's body on the table?
Yeah, I think he can.
Like
sense
on
your-
the table?
Is he?
No, he's in a bed
He's
now,
in a
like
bed.
in
Okay.
one of the nooks.
Okay. So
He's resting comfortably.
Is he able to find him?
Yeah,
Okay.
he finds him. For those who can see, Eridu is propped up against the wall with some cushions behind him. He, at a glance, would seem like he's sleeping, but he's just there with his eyes closed, breathing heavy, and just doing his best to control his own body.
Egner will kneel down and he'll grab gently Eridu's wrist, and he'll hold Eridu's wrist like this, and then he'll put his other hand on top, just enclosing Eridu's wrist in his hand and in his own 2 hands. And he'll hold it for a second and just speak softly and say, "My friend, I do not know what is wrong with you. And I do not even know what it is that I'm capable of. But I promise that I will do everything in my power to help. You've helped me through worse. It's the least I can do for you." And with that, Egner will focus his energies and use one of his spell slots to cast a spell that probably isn't gonna do anything, but it's just an expression of Egner trying to do something. So essentially he's gonna cast let me make sure I got it just right here. 2nd level spell slot used. It's Lesser Restoration. You touch a creature and can end either one disease or one condition afflicting it. The condition can be blinded, deafened, paralyzed, or poisoned. So yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like he's gonna pump him full of the healing energy, and it probably won't interact in the proper way or just have any effect whatsoever. But it's what he thinks he can do, and he just tries it anyways, no matter what.
Yeah, so Eridu breathes in deep when you cast the spell on him, and You feel his grip tighten on your hand. And then as you get up, he says, "Thank you, Agner. I actually feel much better."
I hope so. I hope so, my friend.
As the morning goes on, Eridu does get get himself standing using his staff to make his way over to the table. He sits down and joins in breakfast with all of you. He's not terribly
I-
talkative, but he's there.
Can I have so I'd like to try to have made like a tea or something that maybe I would know about from, because I'm smart and I do reading and stuff, that like monks maybe use in their like general, in their like training meditation, something that they kind of almost swear by to kind of keep them calm. And so it's not like actual medicinal properties, but it's just
Roll me a
something
religion
like
check.
religion. Okay. 24.
Okay. Yeah, you've done some research and you've read of herbs that are just supposed to have certain medicinal properties. And you've spent part of the morning out in the forest collecting a few of them. Maybe maybe it was early enough in the morning that you ran into somebody. Maybe not.
That
Um,
I ran into somebody.
yeah, I don't know what Leah's doing.
All right, okay.
She doesn't come inside the
She's lurking.
Pacing.
pacing.
Hmm.
What's the sense of her emotions right now? She's working on calming them, right?
Yeah. Since she spent pretty much the entire night that she wasn't actually the entire night working on them, she's relatively calm, a little bit impatient.
Yeah. As Ellie is collecting the herbs, they seem to come right off the leaf very easily, or right off the
Oh
stem,
no.
as though they were impatient to do whatever it is that someone is willing to do with them.
Get on with the thing.
Yep. You guys can let me know if you wanted to interact, but I figured I'd open the door for that if you would like to take it.
Thank you. To think about that.
I mean, I would just kind of like, if I saw sort of like, do that knowing smile, like, oh, you've acknowledged someone across like the other side of the road, kind of nod and smile, but I kind of like hurry on my way. So it's kind of up to you if you want to try and talk to me, because I'm probably just like, I don't really want to talk about what I'm doing.
One of the other
Oh.
people that we're trying to avoid with the
Yeah.
Eridu stuff.
Right. I think in that case, Leodin probably won't try to interact with her because Leodin's still trying to make sure that limit interactions really in hopes that will kind of contain the emotions. So
Okay.
I don't think she's going to push it.
All right. So yeah, after a while, you make this brew and give it to Eridu. He thanks you, and takes a sip, and kind of you see just like a grimace, and he tries to kind of cover it real quick, and that was very thoughtful. Thank you.
I just say, I know it doesn't taste good. It's not. And I whisper, like, I try to whisper, like, not for the taste.
I know. I didn't want to come off as rude, but it is very thoughtful. I appreciate the gift, and it is helping. It makes me feel better. And it does actually seem to, he takes a drink and he does seem to get a little more color in his cheeks.
So, who's there now? Like, who's at the?
I think by
So
now.
I
it's
think at some point after Ellie went in with the herbs, eventually Leodin also came back in.
Okay.
Egner's here.
So, what's our plan today then? Should we? I've been thinking overnight, and maybe it might be a good idea to go and find some sort of, paladin or cleric or someone who is used to dealing with poisons and diseases that may be able to do something to hold off the infection just while we sort of work on maybe finding their father, because like we said yesterday, he might have the best answers.
Why would finding the spider's father help us with the poison that was that spider bacon?
Not the spider. I mean, he's a drider. I'm smart. I know things. The drowned driders are basically the same thing. Right?
Halifax feels as though he has 8 legs underneath him supporting his body, and he kind of thinks maybe he can climb walls. He's not sure though.
No.
Egner's not
But
the only
I
one.
cast spider climb on him. Secretly cast spider climb on Halifax. I don't. That's a high spell for me.
What is
Looking
this
down,
madness?
Halifax does in fact only have 2 legs, but apparently he can actually climb walls.
Halifax is going to excuse himself and just say that he needs to go and commune with nature. He's used to tripping each and every one of the balls, and is going to go out into the woods to, come down.
Oh my goodness. He's straight tripping off of the spider bacon. This is great. He's great. Egner's glad
Does
that
he
he skipped
appear-
breakfast.
Ellie
long?
pushes the plate away. Maybe not.
How long does spider climb last?
Well, I don't know whether actually to cast on him because it is a high spell slot for me. It's like a level 2, but it is for an hour. No, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna waste a spell.
Okay.
I might do
Then
it later.
For about 5 minutes, Halifax feels like he can climb stuff and discovers he cannot. He can also not shoot webs out of his rear end, which he tries to do, and it doesn't happen.
Go, Web, go.
I
Shazam!
have a question.
What's up?
Does Halifax appear to anyone else to be having like a moment of weirdness, or does he seem perfectly normal and fine?
I think Halifax would be very Brian Blessed about this. So yeah, I would probably appear to be usually eccentric. So this isn't unusual for Halifax, but it is odd behavior.
Okay. All right.
So if this
Because
is your first time
Leland was
meeting him,
right.
it would raise the alarm bells.
might think that he's super weird. Okay, well in that case, if her impression is that this is weird, then she will not go and try to talk to him.
Very wise.
Ellie like says this suggestion for the day, and then Halifax just walks out. Like, okay, what do you guys think?
Well, I know we need all the help that we can get for Eridu, but I don't know. I feel like I have this capability to maybe take care of Eridu in a very helpful way. You know, I am not entirely sure what it is that I'm capable of, but I did something earlier that seemed like it helped, and I really have some kind of confidence in my abilities for whatever reason.
Well, that doesn't surprise me, Agnes. You know, you're very capable and good at what you do, and you know all these spells and stuff. Like, it's really,
Oh,
quite.
oh, stop! Really, stop. It's too much, Ellie. It's but no, I can't.
You
I
stopped.
mean, I can do it,
Keep
really.
going.
I mean, who needs a cleric or a paladin? I mean, come on, I used to be one of those.
Okay, yeah. Then I think if you can keep on whenever he gets to maybe, the lowest point, doing whatever you do and basically pushing it back as much as possible while we seek out the cure, which I think will mean going and finding their father.
Yeah, I might be able to help with that too, for better or for worse. I don't know. I just seem to have such a weird connection with evil things sometimes. I don't understand how that works.
Shrug.
Hmm.
Is John there?
John has been patiently waiting and listening. He hasn't touched his bacon.
Okay, I want to try and have a word with him before we go, but not in front of everyone. Just so you know.
Okay.
Do it later. Okay, so what do we know where your father would be, Leah? Yeah.
I have an idea for where he might be, but it's just an idea.
Well, is that like the main thing we've got? I don't think we have anything else. I mean, there was a suggestion of where he first got the infection, which might imply the temple we were at, or
Iron Fist
where
hold.
yeah. Is
You
that the
saw
same
him
place?
before.
Yeah.
That's where I first met Agrian. I didn't know it as Iron Fist hold when I first got there, but I learned after about the history of the place and what exactly happened there, and how me walking into the picture wasn't the greatest idea.
And Eridu came into contact with him then as well, so perhaps that's when the infection got in him.
Asa, does Leodin recognize that name?
Yes, that is one of the points that. Let's see, Iron Fist Hold is what is called as a dwarven settlement,
Mm-hmm.
and it was dwarven when the Drow took over, right? So it's not like it's
Yeah.
a new. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely was one of the what's the word I'm looking for? Strategic points that Agrian had been obsessed with, is the way that Eridu had described it to her. And he had explained there are several of these places throughout the country at large that Agrian just was convinced would allow him to maintain his hold over a vast empire or a vast stretch of area. And Iron Fist Hold was one of the more accessible because it was closest to where you were at the time.
Okay, so then it sounds like that Leodin would agree that that is the place to go to first. Or it is.
That would be agreeable.
Perhaps that's where we should try and get back to.
Right. My internet.
Halifax at this point will emerge from the woods, having tried to climb several trees.
He has sticks sticking out of his hair.
Were drinks served?
Oh.
Oh,
There better be coffee. Sounds good. I'll skip breakfast, but there has to be coffee.
Spider coffee?
What
We
are all
must
these
have at least
spider
a tea.
eggs doing in my coffee?
I
Ugh.
Oh,
I
thought
know,
that's how you
gross.
liked it sweetened.
Gross.
Let me just. He comes with a strainer and starts to scoop them out rather than just magicking them away.
You're worthless, sounds good. Worthless.
Look, I run an academy or a organization full of people constantly using magic. Occasionally, I like to do things the right way.
Worthless.
Easy way.
Egner refuses the
Hard
coffee
way.
entirely.
I'm gonna lean in towards Laodan. Is it Laodan?
Ah, see? You're doing it too now.
Everyone just say Leah.
Leah.
British. It's the British thing, I swear.
Will you change the name on my screen to just LIA then?
Gotcha.
See,
Yeah, but I'd
because
still say Leia.
I would say liar at that point.
Interesting.
Well, that's better than making it sound like
As long as you don't get it mixed up with Leovan, you're okay.
yeah.
Right.
L. No, see that's close to Ellie. Oh my god.
He meant.
Anyway, I'm gonna lead in towards Ms. Samaria, and
There you go.
you know, on my travels, I often had lunch and breakfast with the trail guard. They've got a few stations set up along the roads. They know how to put on a spread. Buffet breakfast, drinks on tap. It's good stuff. Can't say the same about this Sans good fellow.
I will have you know I used to run a tavern. And how do you have drinks on tap when you're traveling along the road?
The kegs.
Shifty eyes.
Right.
Look, don't be jealous. Sounds good. You shouldn't take offense that there's other people that can provide better hospitality than you.
I have clearly forgotten about the legendary kegs carried by the trail guard on their lightweight trips through the roads governing the area or protecting the areas of... Look, I need
I put a hand on John's knee.
Look at Ellie with an eyebrow raised.
And I said, don't worry, Halifax is just trying to hit on Leah. I'm sewing the scene.
Oh. I understand.
Didn't hear that.
And I pat his knee and then pull my hand away.
A bouquet of flowers just appears in front of Leah, and John winks at her and says, "Those are from him."
Cool. Well, if you want to know what the emotion in the room is right now, it is deeply confused and very amused.
So everyone just bursts out laughing.
Hilarious. What was that?
Everyone just bursts out laughing.
Pretty much.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what happened.
And then Leah excuses herself and goes out of the building.
Right. So, we have plans. We're going to stop insulting my hospitality.
Yeah, I guess we're gonna do that, and we're gonna go to
I've
Iron
done
Fisthold.
nothing wrong with your hospitality, John. You've done nothing but help us today.
And yet, you seem to want to bring in outside beverages.
That wasn't my suggestion.
He's looking at the drink you gave Eridu.
That's different. That's medicinal.
All right, I have an organization to run. You have a person to save.
Wait.
Shouldn't we come to a decision here and do things?
Yeah, I think we've decided we're gonna go to this. Can you get us to Iron Fist Hole quickly? Like, bam, teleport, you know.
Well, no. In short, I can't. However, it seems that these different portals all seem to be... I need to decide if how much John knows here real quick. He was briefed by Ellie. Okay, he would know this. It seems all these portals are linked somehow. Jaren was able to redirect the portal that you, or the teleportation circle that you found Ellie at, to take him to the harbors. So, we need to get you back to one of those portals, and you could do your thing and get yourself to the hold on your own.
Yep. Sounds like a job for you, Agner.
A what now? Wait, I'm gonna do what? Look,
You did so good yesterday. You did so good. New ability, new skill. Just just try it out again. Like it could help us all.
well, okay. I mean, I guess if you can take me to where I need to be, I can try and do the thing. I mean, I just need to make sure all of you know that I have no idea what I'm doing with this thing. I've got no clue.
Oh my
It could blow up at any time. I don't know.
I'm not him, but he's blind. So-
I have faith in him.
Me too. We all have faith in you, Agner.
Well, that's very sweet of you, Ellie. Very sweet. I'll try and have enough faith in myself as other people are seeming to have in me right now.
Eridu gives John a look and then says, "If I am reading the situation properly, the Twin Harbors is the closest of these portals, if that's the one that this Jaren took. So I think there's another task that we are being set on that's not being said, which is to find Emily, if that's where Jaren took her, and to deal with Jaren for John. Is this correct?" And Sounds Good kind of doesn't meet Eridu's eyes and says, "I mean, if you're in the area, you might as well kill two birds with one stone."
Wow.
Wow, John.
Wow.
I thought we were like all on level with each other and being open and honest, but I'm really, really disappointed in your behavior today.
It's a good thing Leah's not in the room.
I'm gonna cover
Well,
Tobias'
look, we want-
ears.
We did want to find. We do need to find Emily, I guess.
It's not like I wasn't pointing you in a direction that was entirely for my own benefit.
Look, I don't know why the rest of you are so shocked, really. It's to be expected out of someone in the ISCB. They're all the
Exactly.
same.
He's got wait.
I don't mean to be so insulting, Sanskrit, but it's just the way that you all work. As far as I've seen, everyone that I've met, it's just the way you guys are.
I mean, I guess subtlety and deception comes with spells that allow you to change your appearance and turn into animals. But still, we save lives, Egner.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into a philosophical discussion about all these ethics and justifications and the like.
No, because you would lose.
Probably.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good. Thanks for the no good coffee and the no good breakfast, but thanks for the safe place to be, and I guess we got some birds to kill with some stones.
Oh, and I have brewed you all a keg of my latest beer.
Okay, I'll take that.
There's one thing Sounds Good does well. It is alcohol.
Yeah.
Why was this not served with breakfast? Honestly, sounds good. Your hospitality skills just need a
You don't
tweak.
Drink beer for breakfast. That's just how you go back to sleep. This is trail beer. You drink it while you walk.
All right.
I'll take it.
Egner will take the pony keg under his arm for the moment.
I mean, these are all actually fairly small kegs.
Yeah.
They're like super easy to carry, and as you pick them up, they're very light.
Mm.
But as you slosh them around, there's clearly something like quite a bit of liquid inside.
Interesting.
Okay, so we're leaving for Twin Harbors, right? That's the plan.
We should probably take a break as well.
Yeah,
for
I
sure.
was just wondering, like, it would make it makes sense to kind of cut this off here, like at the leaving bit. But I would also like to very quickly before we leave this scene,
Talk with John.
ask John. Basically, I want to ask him if he's able to send messages to people, like magically, like the sending spell.
Yeah, as everyone's kind of filing out, and he catches that you're holding back. Oh, Ellie, I did see about your request. I set Ethel on ahead, and I gave her orders to, if she finds your mechanical owl bear, to send it back to you.
Thank you.
Something
Yeah,
else.
can you? Yes, if possible. Do you have the sending spell? Are you able to send messages magically?
That, of course, that's like 101. I teach that spell every single day.
Of course. Could you get a message to? Do you know the druid Leavin?
Leia,
Leavin.
The correct one. The druid.
yeah.
I can't say that I know specifically of him, but I'm sure that through contacts I could get a message to him.
Okay. Could you try and get a message to him and tell him that Ellie needs to speak to him as soon as possible? Like,
All right.
utmost urgency, importance. Everything else doesn't matter. This is the main thing.
All right. You might be a busy person who has many things to see to, but you should drop everything right now and find Ellie. Got it.
Yeah. Get a message to her. Have a chat.
No, I will seek him out for you and give him this message.
Thank you. And ignore them guys. Thank you for helping us last night.
John does seem genuinely surprised by this, and yes, and I do truly mean to help you when I can.
Yeah, I picked up on that. See you around, John. Wave and walk off.
As she disappears off into the distance, he shouts, "Ellie, are you coming on to me?"
And the scene fades to black.
As his mansion just kind of, or his house just kind of slowly disappears, leaving John standing in the ring of stumps for a moment, and then he also disappears.
All right. And at that, we're going to take our break, because it's a good time to do that. So
And that got silly.
it got a little silly, but yeah, I don't know. Egner's taking care of Eridu. That's the only thing that matters.
It's
But
true.
Ellie's really taking care of her.
I know, but
Ellie
to Egner's mind. So
But
anyways,
Leah's really, really taking care of Eridu.
Yeah, guys.
so
Listen.
anyways, join us in about 10 to 15 minutes, and we'll continue this crazy little story we got going. Thanks for joining us, everyone. We'll be right back.